Haley Show, and today we're joined by Andrew Blake, the CEO and founder of Blake's Beverage Company, the second largest independent cider company in the U.S. Andrew, it's a pleasure to have you on the show. Thanks for stopping by.
Yeah, thanks so much for having me.
All right. Why don't you tell us a little more about yourself, Blake's Beverage Company, and your journey from growing up on a family farm to kickstarting a cider company?
Yeah, so I'm the CEO of Blake's Beverage Company. I'm a third generation apple farmer. Grew up in a seasonal family business that scaled from 100 acres to 1,500 acres. Today we see about 2 million visitors a year. And kind of going through that, seeing all the challenges of a seasonal family business, saw an opportunity to really address that challenge when I got back into the family business. And also saw this kind of changing inclination for people to be interested in fruit forward beverages. And that's kind of what you're seeing kind of the next generation really kind of lean into from a Bev perspective and talk to the family, ask them to invest in this idea. And then today that's been 13 years ago we started that journey on the beverage side, and today we're the second largest independent cider company in the country.
Wow. And
Yeah.
why do you think cider's so popular?
I think people are drinking different. The next generation's really is drinking more occasion based, looking for more, flavor forward beverages, drinking for occasions. And I think they want something that has a little bit of a health halo effect. And I think cider kind of checks all those boxes really naturally.
All right. So tell us
Yeah.
more about your strategy for the company's national growth and what you learned and continue to learn along the way.
Yeah, so what we saw was cider was really regional throughout the country. You had these spots in the Pacific Northwest, the Northeast, and there was no one that was really bringing cider, in the traditional sense to scale. So we took the approach that we were going to create a cider roll-up strategy nationally, and we would roll up, regional cider companies that really spoke to the demographics in the Midwest and the South, Southeast, and then kind of offer a national platform where we could reach consumers regionally. So we kind of have endeavored through that. We've acquired two companies, looking at our third right now, to really kind of meet the customers where they're at. People want to feel like cider is a very like tangible product. It comes from a farm. It comes from a place. People who grow those things make those things. So there's real connection to the product. So we thought the strategy to really stay true to cider's essence and what it is and what it can be, was to really kind of meet customers where they're at in the regions where they're at. So that's been our strategy over the last 5 years from an acquisition standpoint, and it's working.
Consumption trends are changing with declining sales in a majority of categories and younger generations consuming less alcohol. Can you tell us why alt beverage categories like ready to drink cocktails and ciders are bucking the trend with increasing sales?
Yeah, I think it goes back to for the longest time there was a lot of these legacy brands, and people didn't really think about where the product came from. It was kind of built from a price point perspective. But this next generation is much different. They want flavor, they want occasion, they want to know where the product comes from. So I think you're seeing that generation drink far differently than any generation previous. Late millennials, Gen Z, they definitely have different consumption habits, and we've just been able to really resonate with that generation through our marketing, through our the way we communicate to customers, from the flavor profiles, and then from an ABV perspective, we offer a range of low ABV to high ABV drinks, and you're seeing more and more consumers drink on the margins as opposed to your traditional, kind of light beer, consumer.
What are some new products and partnerships you've recently launched or have in the works?
Yeah, so American Apple is our kind of hero flagship brand. It's the fastest growing cider, one of the fastest growing alcoholic beverages in the country. That continues to scale nationally through convenience channels, chain, grocery, retail. And so that has been a flagship that we continue to kind of press the gas on. You can find it anywhere. And more recently, to kind of open the aperture, we've partnered with Corbel, the kind of famous champagne that's kind of scaled nationally in the country. We're kind of rolling out this idea of the American Spritz. So, creating a new occasion, a new type of drink. Those Spritz types drinks have always been kind of imported from Europe and some of those kind of drinking occasions. So we're really trying to take that inspiration and kind of Americanize it and bring it to the American consumer.
Of course, America is celebrating its 250th anniversary this year. And I understand your family farm is also celebrating a milestone of 80 years.
Yeah.
How do you plan to celebrate both these milestones?
Yeah, so we're really just leaning into our heritage with American Apple. Leaning into heritage. I mean, coming from a farming, kind of background, so much of what we're proud of. And I think what makes the product special is we do lean into our heritage, we lean into where we come from, why we do what we do, and the communities we serve. So, we're trying to show up that way, both on the farm front here at home and then also out in the markets, really being able to resonate, connect to people. And we're having a big celebration with the 250th, birthday of America this year. We have campaigns rolling out nationally to kind of highlight, the best parts of the country we live in.
Wonderful. So let's talk about specifically enough your marketing strategies in certain ways. Like, how is it different that you're able to get it out there? Like, you're growing, you
Yeah,
understand the alcohol market. It's a difficult market because it's not the same traditional marketing. You see
correct.
lots of companies move more to digital. There's
Yeah,
different ideas, right?
yeah. Yeah, so we've never had the we're a family-owned company. We never had the budget to just blow on celebrity influencers and things like that. So we've taken a little bit of a new school approach to the old school, which is we're very people and relationship focused. We invest heavily in trade, so we work really closely with our retail partners to make sure we show up kind of in store and in bars in a big way. So we've really kind of leaned into the human element of, at the end of the day, people drink and consume for connection and engagement with, fellow, friends and family and community. And that we think as the world digitizes, that's still such a huge element of what makes the social scene. So we think that that'll always be in vogue, and we've just found new ways to bring technology and our ability to show up in those places, more relevant. So real people focused approach, and really partnering in the trade, as far as investment in the trade with our retail partners, to show up where consumers are at.
Yeah, exactly. And that's the important thing. And I think the family tradition helps a lot, doesn't it?
Yeah, I think, as you're seeing, like, businesses, more and more businesses get rolled up and scaled up and kind of become corporate, versions of themselves. I think people, gravitate to brands that have, a soul, speak from a place of heritage and kind of are invested in the communities that they work in and in the communities that they serve. And that's always been at the core of what we do here at Blake's, and we'll continue to do through Blake's Beverage Company.
I love it. It's fantastic. And what would you say, what going out and checking out your farm? Where's your farm located?
Yeah, so we're in Armada, Michigan, about an hour north of Detroit. There's more tractor stores than restaurants and grocery stores. So it's a very much blue collar farming town. And my family moved here in the 40s. It was a 100-acre apple orchard, and we've since grown. One of the largest fruit growers in the state and albeit the region. And we would just try to bring that growing and farming heritage through the products that we ultimately create and serve to the public.
Interesting. Do you do a lot of, you said you have the celebrations. Do you do a lot of events and different things at the farm?
Yeah, we do. We have a huge, kind of event piece of our business. Like I said, we see about 2 million people a year come and visit us. So, we're definitely built for occasions and celebrations. We have all sorts of events from the Lavender Festival to, concert series and the whole nine. So we really are trying to be, space makers to create experiences for people. I think as the world gets more digitized, like the kind of draw back from the digitization is like more in person, kind of events, festivals, things that make you feel, human.
Do you do anything for Halloween?
Oh yeah, we do a huge Halloween deal. We have one of our locations is all Halloween themed, and so we have a huge, haunted hayride, zombie paintball, haunted orchard experience. It's very family friendly and focused around kids and family. At the heart of what we do, our mantra is making memories is always in season. So we really are trying to create memories and experiences for kind of all seasons and all occasions for families.
Where's the best information we can find info on you? Where can we
Uh,
go?
www.blakefarms.com.
Appreciate it, Andrew. Thanks again.
Thanks so much for having me.
You're welcome. You're
Yeah,
listening and
take
watching
care.
the Neil Haley Show, and we'll be back in just a moment. All right. Nice meeting you, Andrew.
Yeah,
Take
nice
care.
meeting you
See
too.
ya.
Thank you,
Thank
man.
you. Take
Take
care.
care.
Okay. Bye.